As we live our day-to-day lives, many people ask the question, what is life? What does it mean to be alive today? We want to answer many of those questions and search for others as we look inside, to our habits and our tendencies. Life is nothing more than the energy of thought manifested into reality. Your reality depends on what you think it should be. You can manifest any thought in your mind into reality. But when you're not concentrating, there are images, sounds, and impulses placed into your mentality. Your mentality grabs that image, star or impulse, turns it into energy and manifests that implanted artificial thought into your reality. We can manifest anything. We can think, but we don't take the time to think deeply. We tend to live our day-to-day lives reacting to impulses. Propaganda, advertising, listening to these sounds and looking at these images that make us feel a certain way. Those feelings of what we receive from those images and sounds tend to make us enjoy with pleasure or fear. These two are the most powerful images. These two are the most powerful emotions that dictate the images you see from what you receive, and the sensations you feel from what you receive. Living at a low frequency keeps you in any perpetual state of a receptive action of energy that is there to manipulate your mind. There are many ways to raise your frequency and to control yourself, whether it's your first person or second person. First person being the inner you, your soul. The second person being the projecting you, the image you want the world to see. Usually in our lives, especially at low frequencies, these two are out of balance. We tend to live our lives wanting the world to see a certain us, which is not the real us. We tend to grab onto and attach ourselves to energy frequencies, brands and logos that we wear as badges of pride and images of status. And it's not true. At the end of the day, it's only you and yourself, the images and status you try to project into the world to give credit and for you. To have value is a false sensation of reality. Some of us live in this world forever, from as long as we can remember, growing as a child and being indoctrinated from our parents or our surroundings or friends. Society tends to place these objects in your circle to give you value. Those images, logos that we think give us value tend to be our imprisonment, a lifelong attachment and enslavement to creating value out of something that is man-made. Those that are understanding my words, and those who can feel the direction I'm headed, are aware of the challenge that this brings. We tend to live our lives in the fictitious world of looking at objects and items as value that really has no value. The biggest creation and falsehood of this is money. Money is only paper, but we tend to look at that paper as having value because of what it can purchase, what we can turn into reality. From having those pieces of paper in our hands, we have evolved into the understanding of being manipulated into thinking that our lives are directed by this paper. When you look around the world, each country has their currency. Their currency has a certain weight or value based on the monetary structure of currency exchange, which usually goes back to be based on something physical, such as diamond, gold or oil, and which we look at those items also as valuable or having value because of what they can manifest in the physical world. So we are far from our natural state of balance. Our balance has been warped off its original axis for thousands of years. The indigenous people of the planet don't see the value. And what we see value, their value is in the natural state of understanding that they are one of divinity in the divine order. These images, sounds that we put into reality and attach our feelings, emotions to create a false sense of value of ourselves causes us to continually compete against each other, causing us to attack and challenge each other for this paper. But it's nothing more valuable than the oneness of the Creator. We are all part of the macro, which makes us the micro. Understanding the oneness put you in a state of perspective, that there are many things more important than the small problems we have individually that we can accomplish. As a group, if we eliminate the baggage of what we consider to be value, when you look at the bigger picture and you compare those small, insignificant, petty, competitive situations to the world order or the universal oneness, they make no sense. So what do? The love from one another is more important than the paper one can achieve. The paper one achieve is controlled and managed by those who control your society. There's only a certain amount of people that's gonna get through. The rest are there to look at. Those few that get through with ambition, and drive to push and charge the machine to glorify those you see as famous of their creation, of their manifestation. Participating in the so-called the machine, which we call society, doesn't give you the freedom of understanding who you are. It puts you on a lifelong trick of running around looking for praise to be recognized, when we have the power to recognize and praise ourselves all the time. This is very important. You are more powerful than you know. Not participating in these so-called the machine, these items that we consider status symbols, will leave us with just us and our wonders. And if those items are not valuable to us as a whole, anything that is not thought of continually dies. And this way, over the years, many gods of certain religions are no longer around, because they're not thought of anymore. But we have the power to rise above our inequities. What we consider lifelong poverty of not owning property or having financial independence by coming together, which is already happening through divinity. So it only takes for you to take the action of not reacting in already created or presumed action to step out of the circle, are participating in that system. We are more powerful when we go in our own direction. Living in our society is necessary, but participating 100 in that society, when it's detrimental to your future, is not necessary. Many societies separate from the social construct that we call our society, such as the Asians or the Amish Mennonite. There are many societies that separate and do very well in that separation. It is very hard to participate and enjoy the fruits of all the abundant, pleasurable and satisfactory emotion-filling actions that to separate and grow yourself holistically is very difficult to have both family. None of us have enough financial means to live the life they projected. We must rise above those dark clouds as mountains to have a clear, direct, and distinct view of our purpose, the meaning of life, and knowing ourselves. This has been an epiphany. Hopefully, it can help you along your path. There are some who needed to hear this, and there are many who've been waiting for this. Words are the vibration, which allows the mind to receive keys to open up consciousness. So I hope these words are able to connect with those who've been waiting for these positive vibrations. Walk in the power of knowledge and empower those we pass along the way to our destiny. Strengthen our divine position